If you're not African, please scroll. If you are not a Christian, please scroll twice. Now, if you're still here, you are the exact person I want to talk to. If faith means freedom to you, you will not be afraid of this conversation. You were told that Christianity was forced upon Africans out of love and to save our souls. Keep your mind open. Let's talk about one man who helped operate the slave machine, Charles Colcock Jones, a Presbyterian minister, a plantation owner, and a wealthy slaveholder. He wrote a book in 1842 titled The Religious Instruction of the Negroes in the United States. Not to free slaves, not to humanize them, but to manage them. He admits that slaveholders were actually afraid that if they taught the slaves Christianity, they would be less governable, less obedient, and harder to control. That was the fear. The fear was not sin, it was control. So what did he do? He reassured them that Christianity doesn't change anything in their social or physical lives. It doesn't make them less property. In other words, you can preach Jesus to them and still own them as your property. You can baptize a man and still chain him. Salvation on Sunday, plantation on Monday. Now put a pin on that and let's come back home. How many of you African Christians are told today that your suffering is your assignment, that your poverty is your test, that your breakthrough is coming in due season? You're spiritually upgraded but economically frozen. The structure is the same. The only difference is the century. Jones praises Christianity because it trains servants to perform the diligent discharge of duty, to be obedient, hardworking, and patient. That's not liberation. That's performance optimization. Now look around you. How many African Christians are told to endure abuse because God sees? How many church workers are either unpaid or underpaid but still told to serve diligently as unto the Lord? How many citizens are crushed by corrupt leaders but told that every authority is ordained by God and therefore should keep quiet? You call it faith though, but power and the authority call it stability. Jones even celebrates that religion doesn't remove the master's proper method of enforcing obedience. In other words, even when the slave has converted to become a Christian, the master retains his proper method of enforcing and ensuring that they are obedient to them. That means the whip stays, the fear stays, the punishment remains. Christianity makes it moral. Remember, this is not coming from me. It was penned down by a church minister who owned slaves. Now tell me something. When a struggling and a hungry widow empties her last savings because the pastor says so dangerously, and the entire congregation watches in silence, screaming hallelujah, what changed? The whip is gone, but the psychological chain remains. Jones also admits that religiously trained slaves became more profitable to them. Better behavior equals better profit because Christianity makes them more humble, more obedient, and more governable. Now look at the modern version. You today. The more obedient the congregation, the more stable the institution. The more generous the poor, the wealthier the pulpit. The more silent the members, the safer the structure. Who benefits most? He also insisted that religious teachings should be taken into their own hands and superintended. In other words, control the message, control the interpretation, control their minds. Today, how many African Christians are taught not to question the pastor? How many are warned that doubt is rebellion? How many sermons focus on obedience, giving, submission, but avoid economic policy, structural reform, and industrial strategy? Control the teaching, control the people. This is not emotion, this is continuity. A system that once said Christianity will not free them now says Christianity will bless you. Just wait. Different promise, same silence. You were taught to honor obedience, to fear questioning, to romanticize suffering, to believe heaven compensates for everything earth denies you. And while you wait, someone else builds. This is not an attack on belief, it is a confrontation with history. So when someone says Christianity was forced on Africans for our good, they're not arguing with emotion. They're arguing with a blueprint written by a man within the system. Jones did not hide the strategy, he documented it. The real question is not whether or not the blueprint existed, because the book is out there. The real question is how much of the blueprint survived. And today, who is still benefiting from that obedience? That's not an attack, that's a mirror. So look into it. When you give, who grows? When you obey, who gains? When you stay silent, who sleeps peacefully? When you endure, who profits? If the system collapses the moment you start asking questions, what exactly were you protecting? If your faith cannot survive examination, was it faith or was it conditioning? Go home tonight and sit with one uncomfortable thought. If the blueprint is still alive and you are a part of it, are you free or just functioning inside a structure you never audited? That's not an accusation, it's an invitation. Go do the soul searching.